Ladies and gentlemen, I accidentally won a chess tournament. And in this video, I will be recapping how I did it and bringing you all of the games of the event. Sort of, because I will be doing it from memory. It was a blitz tournament, and now about 6 days later, I have tried to memorize 6 blitz games to bring to all of you. This is the story. My wife and I were in Mexico for something that chess.com does, a company event. They do it every year. This year, we were invited for the very first time. There's a lot of very, very strong players, actually, who work at chess.com, and so they organized a very big tournament. Now, for those of you that are following the chess world closely, you know that this was just about the worst week in the history of chess, given the tragic passing of Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. And without going into it in great detail, I will just let you all know that things are happening behind the scenes. People are trying to do their very, very best to put initiatives in place, memorial, and so on and so forth. And I will update you as that progresses. And this tournament actually happened the same day the news came out. So it was a dark time. It was a very sad time, still reacting to the news. But we tried to do our best to honor Daniel in the best way that you can, which is playing blitz chess and playing it pretty well. Here is the starting rank. You can see there I am number 9 in terms of FIDE rating, but I'm actually tied for number 10. It is a very, very strong list of players with Jorge Cori, Krikor Mkhitaryan, Pepe Cuenca is number 3. You've got a lot of very, very good players. And so I didn't know, what I was getting myself into. 6 rounds, and I will be showing you every single game. Hopefully you learn something. And like I said in the introduction, yeah, Daniel would have wanted us to play. So, first game, I'm up against Joseph Lee. Those of you that watch chess live streams might know this person as Joe Bruin. This was pretty funny to play somebody in the very first round. And he opened up with e4. And again, this is all in my memory. I in one of the most difficult weeks in quite some time for many, many people, I tried to keep these games in the back of my mind to share them with all of you. I played the Scandinavian defense, one of my favorite openings recently, especially for blitz, and highly recommended to all of you. He played the main line, he played d4, and then here he played a little bit passively rather than the most aggressive bishop to c4. He was definitely a bit hesitant. I mean, I was sensing some nerves, but I also play, nerves over the board after not playing for a while are always there. I tried to follow the protocol, which is develop my pieces like this, put pressure on this knight, and frankly, be ready to trade my bishop for this knight. This is the way I like to play my Scandinavian. And I might be mixing up the exact move order, but basically the position we had was something like this. Now, the position is basically equal. Black has surrendered the bishop pair. Black is going to put pressure on the center pawn and try to jump in with the knight, maybe trade the knight for the bishop, maintain a little bit of pressure. And we essentially navigated this position something like this. Joe played queen up, something like this. I brought my rook, he brought his rook, and I couldn't really find the way to crack into the position because if I go knight here, he just goes here. If I trade, he's going to take. Both pawns stay protected. I was getting a little bit annoyed, so I just played a very quick waiting move. I remember I spent like 2 seconds on this move. It's blitz. You have to put the pressure on the opponent. He went here, and I immediately played this move. I thought I was so clever with this move, like I'm targeting the knight, and if he trades, I'm going to... And I kind of just had to come back. And I didn't feel like I was making much progress, to be honest, because his pawn is very well protected, and I'm trying to crack through the middle. And I did build up a nice time advantage. I kind of brought my queen, and then something proceeded to happen here that was so utterly ridiculous, and I knew the tournament was going to be off to a really meme start. I played my knight to d5, and my knight to f4. And then I was making a lot of progress. Like at some point, I snuck my pawn through the position, pushed, because of the pin, something along these lines. you know, and then here I planted the knight, and this wasn't the exact position because he couldn't play f3, but this was the position. Like this is where we were, and he had about 10 seconds remaining on the clock. I had about a minute. So I worked my way, I outplayed my opponent. I'm a 600-point favorite, I would hope I would do that. Now I proceeded to do something so stupid, like mind-blowingly stupid. I sat in this position, I was like, okay, I would like to maybe put my pawn on f5, so it defends. I was thinking my first instinct was queen g6, which is the best move. I didn't play queen g6, so I was like, well, he's gonna go here and attack my queen. I don't know why I didn't play that. I also thought about retreating this way to, like, target the pawn. So anyway, I thought for a while, I went down to, like, 20 seconds, and I went pawn to a6, and I straight up just hung a fork. Like, Joe just forked me, and then just took my pawn. He took my pawn. He played like knight e4, and I was like, "Yo, I'm down a pawn. What the? Like, I'm just losing. Like, I'm completely lost. I'm down a pawn, and you know, he has like 7 seconds, and we're playing with 2-second bonus time. So the tournament starts off with me losing to a 1,700 feet A-rated player. No disrespect to Joseph, but I should be winning this game. I'm like, all right, we gotta lock in. So I went knight to f4. I threatened mate. He sadly saw it, and here I was like, hey, knight a5 is kind of a nice move. And I like knight a5 because I didn't see how he could protect his pawn. And, well, he can push this and protect it, but I had low time already. And if he pushes, I fork him. And Joe played here, which is a bad move because it hangs a queen in one move. Thank God, okay? Because, and I managed to win this first game with, you know, we then scrambled on from here, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, and I also couldn't believe it. And frankly, I couldn't believe that in this position, up a full minute on the clock, and clearly considering the best move, I was like, well, he's going to attack my queen. I was like, why was I afraid of this move? But yeah, so the tournament got off to a really good start. I blundered a full pawn, and then I was completely lost, and then he returned the favor and hung his queen in one move, which is what happens in low time. So this is the way the Blitz tournament started. Now, in the second round, I was playing somebody who sounds like they train with Khabib Nurmagomedov. I thought I was playing an MMA fighter, and I told this person you know, that's what I thought. And he's from, actually asked me which region my family is from originally, and it's Kazan. If anybody knows, from my family some 30 years ago, and he's actually from there. So shout out to Tagir, nice guy. And here was the game: d4, d5. I played some nonsense. I mean, I was kind of trying to play like a Catalan. I was gonna play, you know, bishop g2 and something like this, and then he immediately attacked the center, which is reasonable. I castled. And I don't know too much about this position, so I just went b3. And basically, I was going to put my bishops on the corners of the board, kind of point at the center. I'm playing a 2000, so the secret to beat a 2000 is you're going to beat them like 30 moves into the game. 2000s are very good. They're not going to, I mean, depends. If they write nasty things on Reddit about me, they're not particularly good. But, you know, so I was like, okay, look, we're going to have a game. And he traded everything and tried to even trade queens. And I didn't like this plan, but I also felt like I didn't want to play this position. This just felt very boring, like no queens. And I was like, if I'm Magnus, maybe I play this, but I'm not. I'm definitely not Magnus. So I backed my queen up, and I thought, well, maybe he's going to go bishop d7, bishop b5, but that looks ridiculous. Now I have a very easy plan. I'm going to put my bishop here, put my pawn up so that I play on the diagonal, put my knight out, and I thought I have a pleasant position. He did that. He played bishop d7 and then bishop here, and then he attacked my queen. But at this point, he did something I didn't quite understand. I didn't think that all of this, while not castling, you see, he's playing in a way where he is making moves that make sense, but he's helping me do what I want. And if you're helping your opponent do what they want anyway, probably you're not choosing the right plan. And then here, I just thought I have a very pleasant position. I have the bishops exactly where I want them. I will then put my rooks on the 2 open files, and then we'll see. Then we'll see what we're going to do, right? But then he gave me the bishop pair, and I was like, well, now I'm just much better, right? Like, now my bishop is a complete monster, and for the rest of the game, I'm going to put a lot of pressure. Actually, I don't even have to wait for the rest of the game. I just put pressure right now, and he doesn't have a way to keep the pawn protected against my light-squared bishop. And this is why these openings, like the Catalan, where you have these 2 bishops, very, very nice. really. If you want to climb to advanced level, like 2000, see, below that, you're not going to get to feel the full impact because you're going to make a lot of mistakes and your opponents are not going to play the right way. And he went here and I just won a pawn. I was very happy with the way I converted this game. He attacked my bishop. I can't take because then he would do this. So I went here. He played a5 and I kicked out his bishop and I was anticipating this move. So I brought my bishop back. And now I thought we're going to slowly grind him down and win the 2-on-1 endgame. But he decided it was better to sacrifice a pawn. And I told him after the game, I don't think he had to do this. He decided I'm going to give him the pawn to double the pawns, thinking that this was a weakness, but it's actually not a weakness. 2 pawns is 2 pawns. It doesn't matter if they're doubled. He now no longer has a pawn preventing me from moving forward. Like, the whole point was he was at least stopping me from going forward. And here, if he played rook b8, the game would go on. I mean, I don't know what I would have played. I probably would have played, like, rook b1, and we would play chess, as opposed to what we've been playing so far. But he went here, and now, actually, the game ends very fast. I knew he was going to go here, and this is how you set a trap in chess. So in my mind, I was like, if he has a rook on a8, I would play e4, attacking the knight, with my bishop here, and then I would play e5, attacking the rook in the corner and attacking the bishop. So the way you foresee traps is very instructive in chess. But then I realized that there's a counter to my trap. If the rook goes here, it would take the pawn, which would be attacking my bishop if I moved my pawn. This is the way chess thinking works. So I played rook d1, and I set a trap. The trap is that if he plays the very natural rook a8, now when I play e4, he can't take because the knight hangs, but my bishop is protected. And that is exactly what happened. He struck back quite nicely, but I just went here, and now he doesn't have a defense to his pieces. And he resigned. And I thought this was a very nice game. I thought from this position to get my knight here, my pawn here, and then just I played out, the double bishops very, very nicely. Another kind of nice, positional game. And obviously giving me the light squared bishop just immediately led to the total collapse of the black position, but also giving me the pawn made things easier. So I started 2-0, but then I did not... No, this game actually was a little normal, but this one doesn't actually quite have a conclusion, which I will explain, because I can't remember all the games, because some of them went really long. Yeah, from this point forward, none of my games were good. Like, literally not a single one, but that's Blitz. And that's what happens, and I didn't lose my citizenship between games. I'm going to add the United States flag. Do the rest of them have them? No, I've been kicked out of the US for a few rounds. Okay, so in this game, I'm playing Anthony Levin. Fun fact about this game, Anthony writes for chess.com and does work for them. Obviously, it's a chess.com event. I mean, I grew up at the Marshall Chess Club in New York City, playing against, like, not playing against, but, like, I knew who this person was for many, many years. So we knew each other way before there was a Gotham Chess. And that's always quite fun. And I don't think we've ever played. He played d4, I played g6. Fun fact about this game is that the board next to us was using some sort of clock that was completely blocking my h4 square. Like, it was lopsided. There was not a lot of space between the boards. And so I thought there was always something on h4, like from the black perspective. I was so annoyed, but there was nothing we could do. More on that later. e4, and I played the modern defense. I played this very provocative setup. I'm just kind of sitting back, like seeing, which setup he's going to take. He plays a4. a4 very committal, stops b5, but basically sends me the message that he will never castle this direction. So I developed and castled. And generally speaking, in the modern or the Peereds, you have to know the plans. And the plan here is to play knight c6 followed by e5. Side note, our beloved Danya played many, many pawn structures like this. Instead of pawn to a6, sometimes in Peereds and King's Indian, he would play knight a6, c6. I mean, everything under the sun. I got my position, we traded. He put his bishop here and I put my bishop here. And I thought I solved all my problems. Why? Well, this move, while it's not b5, completely surrenders b4. The thing is, the b4 square is actually very nice, and if I can get pieces there, I will put a lot of pressure on him. My pawn here doesn't need that much protection because it will just awaken my bishop. And now he can't go knight t5. When I got here, I actually was very happy. I thought in the next 5 moves, I'm going to take over the game. He thought for a while here and played a very good move. A very good move, which is annoying because people rated 2000 shouldn't be playing this well. I was a 2000 growing up, and I was terrible. Fun fact, in the 2008 rating list, I am number 2 in the country for my age. Number 1 is Daniel Naroditsky, 22 something or other, and I could never be that good. So that's, maybe these little nuggets will be our ways of getting through all of this together, grieving, but never forgetting. And yeah, I mean, I was not that good as a 2000. He goes Queen C1. This is a freaking good move. It teams up with the bishop. It goes to H6 because I was ready to start kicking him out. He's going to go Rook D1 to take the file. I spent like 40 seconds here and did not come up with a good plan. Because once he goes here, he's going to go here. And so I let him do that, and then I just activated my queen. And I thought here he should bring the bishop back, but he played here, which is also very reasonable. And now, no matter what happens, we're going to trade some pieces because he's simply going to take and then put the knight here, and I just don't have a great position. So I went here, and he did that, and now I'm forced to take his knight because he's forking my queen and bishop. And then I mean, I was thinking to go to E7, but then I was like, well, if I go to E7, this probably was the best move, practically speaking. But I just went forward thinking we're going to trade and then I'll figure it out. But he went here, and I don't know what I'm figuring out anymore, to be honest. Like, and I mean, he's just, it's a completely equal game. Like, white is doing great. And the reason that I felt this way is my queen is hanging. And when I bring it back, immediately in my mind, I was like, well, he's just going to go some sort of like knight D2 type of thing. He's going to play knight to D2, and I don't have a way to stop this, no matter what I do. He played C4, defending his pawn, and I thought, oh, C4, of course. Now, I can't go E4, and he's going to go knight D2. This is protected, and he's going to go here. I didn't like my position at all, really. I went here, and to my shock, he did not play knight D2. And for many people who are watching this right now, like, this is the way you dominate a bishop. You just don't let it come alive, ever. You don't let the, like, knight D2, knight E4 is the idea here. I was probably going to sack the pawn. I don't know. I was going to try to figure something out. But he played, I think, a passive move. He played something like Rook B1, and I immediately just was like, oh, yeah. Like, we're activating the pieces. We're getting the bishop. And this was the last position I remember. The position's still equal, but at least I activated my bishop. I ended up winning this game in an endgame. It was like 60 moves long. I was a rook endgame. I won one of the pawns, and then he started pushing on the king side, which probably was not so great. But to be honest, this position is completely solid for white. Like, I cannot checkmate the guy at all. My rooks are blocked by all his pawns, and yeah, I ended up in many ways winning this game because the board next to us, the same board that at the beginning of this game put the clock on these squares, their clock around this point just shut off. So they were talking to each other full volume. You can probably find who this is if you find the pairings. And they're just talking like, what do we do? And, both me and Anthony got like 30 seconds on the clock and are just like, yo, what the So, yeah, that was kind of funny. That was a little Hunger Games style survival in a tournament. Please don't talk that loud when you're playing. I managed to outplay him. As he told me after the game, he said it didn't change. It likely didn't change the result, but it changed the quality of the moves. And that was very sportsmanlike of Anthony to say that he thought that even if there was no distractions, I would have won. I'm not so sure, by the way. So I paid those guys for that distraction. That's a joke. Now, from this point forward, the games got really, really, really silly. So in this game, I played Jeremy Kane. Jeremy Kane is a longtime educational content creator for chess.com. I've also played him many times online. And I was actually like a little uneasy about this game because he's beaten me a lot. I mean, I've beaten him more than he's beaten me. But I know he's very good. Like, he's 2240 FIDE, but online he's 27-2800 Blitz, and that's really good because I'm 27-2800 Blitz. So from the opening, I got like an English type of game. He played in the most aggressive way, and then I took in the center. I pinned his knight, and I'm trying to go d4 so I can trade these two pawns and leave him with what's called an IQP. Isolated queen's pawn. And that's what I did, and this was the position from the opening. Something like this. And I know that when you have an isolated pawn, you try to play around it, You try to use the space around the pawn to create some sort of attack. But from the opening, I was pretty certain I got a good position. He also didn't play the best way. He played 95 or 97, I don't remember. I think he went 95. And if anybody's confused, it looks like there is checkmate, but there is no checkmate here. It looks like you have a win, but you don't have anything. He went 95 and something like this. And I knew I was better. I knew that now I needed to trade a few of the pieces and set up the right way. But I was not fully confident in myself. Like, I didn't know where to put the knight. I didn't know if I should bring the bishop back because it's going to get attacked. Like, do I bring it back and put the knight on f5? Do I bring it here and put the bishop here? Like, so I was spending a lot of time. I went here, which is, like, very passive. Like, I don't know what even is the logic of this move. I played this move. I was very annoyed at myself because I was like, why didn't I just get a knight into the game? Why am I moving a piece that already moved? That doesn't make any sense. He can't move his rook here. Of course, he's going to go a6. So why don't I use this moment to move a piece? So this didn't make any sense at all. I was very annoyed. I played this move. I'm still doing fine, but I'm no longer better. He should go knight h4, but I don't understand this move. He put the bishop here, and we got something like this, something along these lines. Like, this was sort of the position. And, you know, he's giving me his bishop. He's giving me the bishop pair. But if I take this, I lose the defender of my king. But I'm going to get the two bishops. So I ended up taking it and playing this position. And he completely outplayed me here. Like, he totally outplayed me. And I don't even remember how. I think I played something like queen b1. And then he, like, brought, you know, the bishop back. And he was threatening to, like, checkmate me. So I went here. And then he, like, brought the knight back into the... I mean, he just totally outplayed me. It was horrible. I was desperately defending myself, and I mean, what should I have done instead of like retreating? You know, I probably should have done something like knight d2, and had he kicked me out, stayed active. Like, I don't know why I went passive. I should have went here, and then here, I needed to be faster than him to development, and this is a very different position because I would get the knight back to f3. Whereas in the game, I did not put the knight on f3. My knight was here. And this is a much more pleasant position as I never get mated and I have the two bishops and slowly I... So anyway, what happened? He hit me with a tactic. He played a rook takes bishop, which removes the defense of my pawn. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm going to lose. I'm losing. He's up a bishop. And I don't remember exactly what I did. I played like something like this. And he took, and then I know, again, I'm making things up, but he hit me with that type of tactic. And then he lost on time. He had like 3 seconds to make this move. He made a move in some type of position like this. Something. And I looked at the clock, and he had no time. The chess gods were on my side for this game. I mean, I just got completely lucky. Like, I didn't play my best in this game. I was very annoyed, as you can tell, like, how I was playing. I mean, I got a totally reasonable position from the opening, like a typical isolated queen's pawn. I played it horribly, but now I will never forget how to play this position. I'm not going to play like this, or, you know, I'm going to play knight d2. I'm going to stay active and try to trade the knight for the bishop, and then I will always remember that I should have a knight on f3, so I never get checkmated. Because in the game, I was just hunted down. He played extremely well, and I got extremely lucky. But now, when you win a game like that, you're like, okay, I can walk on water in this tournament. I have 4 out of 4. There's 2 more games, right? All right, let's play. So in this round, I played Rakesh. Rakesh makes a lot of content for ChessCom India. I also made an Instagram reel about him recently playing chess at a cricket event. It was very funny. It went a little viral. And Rakesh is a very good player, but I'm pretty sure, at least I haven't checked his chess.com account, but I know I am a stronger blitz player, at least online. So actually going into this game, I felt confident. More confident than against Jeremy, who has beaten me like 20 times. So he played e4. Sorry. I clicked it, nothing happened. He played e4. Played d5. We traded. Played knight f3. And he played bishop. You know, this is the way I like to play. I went knight c6 when they play like a little more passive and they don't attack your queen. He played d4 and I castled. d4 is actually an inaccuracy, I think. But I can't quite remember. Like, if you're going to play d4, you need to play aggressive, is what I remember. But he went c3. When he played this move, I was like, what? So I played e5. I thought, all my problems are solved. He can't take. If he takes this pawn, I take, knight e5. He can't take because this is checkmate, by the way. So when I played e5, I was like, confidence justified. But he immediately played the move h3. And at this point, I'm thinking like, is this an opening that I just don't know? What's happening? So I can go back, or I can take, push, get a big space advantage, and that's what I did. I was like, takes, push. Okay, I gave him the bishops, but I really like my center. I'm gonna go knight f6. If he castles, he's castling directly into a pawn storm. I kind of like what I got going on. And on his next move, which was this, also he played it quite fast, but I'm like, wait. The whole downside to my plan is I give him the bishop pair. The pair works well together. He goes here and immediately trades the pair. And doesn't just trade the pair. I just talked about this concept. He helps me develop my position. Look at my position. Everything is on the back rank. Now nothing is on the back rank. I mean, I got my bishop out. I got my knight out. And then he offered me this queen trade. And I was like, If I take, he takes, opening up the rook. If he takes me, I don't really attack him anymore. You know, we get a very different type of game. So I'm going to go queen here. And he's going to develop his knight trying to castle, which is what he did. And I'm thinking like, okay, so he's going to go this way because he doesn't want to get checkmated. What do I play now? Should I go knight here, trying to jump in? If I go there, I don't really see what my next move is. Actually, that is the best move. And I was like, maybe he's going to... So I was like, oh, genius idea. E3, because if he takes, I check him. That's really clever of me. And if E3 here, I take with check. His king has to move. His king never gets to castle. Boom! And in a second, the most vicious reversal happened where he immediately played this move. I took, he took, and I was like, huh? I just helped him! Because this move does nothing. He just goes here. I don't have any follow-up. If I check him, he blocks. I go here. Suddenly, I'm the one getting mated. I'm the one getting mated. His knight, his queen, his rooks are going to come to the middle. He's going to use his A-pawn. I'm like, wait, where is my... I can't play knight d5. Like, look, if I play knight d5, he takes, knight b6 check. I take the knight. He takes my rook. I'm completely lost. So my whole plan, everything I went for in a second fell apart. I was like, oh God, I'm down a minute with a position that went from completely fine and even slightly better if I played it the right way, to just worse and quickly spiraling. Because when I moved my queen and he played bishop, whatever, I don't remember exactly what he played. I think he like brought his rook to the middle, and then I have no recollection, but I think I played like maybe a waiting move, and he played like bishop f3. I don't know, something. Okay, I'm not this bad at chess. But I played something along these lines. I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my knight on this square and so on. He went bishop f3, and like I had maybe 40 seconds on the clock, and he had like 2 minutes and a half. I totally flamed out in the opening. So full of confidence going into this game, and now I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because he ended up bringing his rooks down the line. I played like king b8, rook e1, knight here. Again, I was just like much worse in this game. Again, this is not exactly what happened, but close enough. Like I was just doing very, very poorly. He came into the position, and we got something like this. Something along these lines. And he had just played the move rook e7. I have maybe 5 seconds on the clock here. Like, he's coming here, and I'm just going to lose. And I played rook d7, and as I went to hit the clock, I stabbed my elbow on one of the pieces that was standing. So everything was going wrong for me. Everything. Rook d7, barely surviving. I have 5 seconds. 5 seconds, 2-second bonus time. He has like a minute and a half. I'm like, check, here, take, check, king up, check, king runs, take, knight d7. I prepared one line in my head, and I sat there waiting, and he went here. I went here. He took. I went check. Here, check. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I'm safe. Not quite. I don't remember if this pawn was on h6. It very well could have been. That I don't exactly remember. But we got into this endgame where I still had 5 seconds on the clock because I'm not gaining much more time than that. He has like 50 seconds. My heart is pounding because I know what's going to happen. Our kings are going to end up escorting the pawns on opposite sides of the board. So we're going to get into a pawn race. I don't remember what ended up happening, but we ended up trading the queens, and we landed in a position that looked like this. Playing this position with 5 seconds on your clock, every single move, is extremely stressful because I am trying to queen, and he is trying to queen as well. And I'm like, I can't tell if I'm... It seems like the bishop is a much better piece. The knight has to go here, 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 here. And he ends up going king h6. I'm like, I must be losing. I must be losing because he's going to take my pawn and just queen his pawns, right? So something along this line happens and we get into this crazy race. I go knight here. He takes my pawn. I take the pawn. He starts pushing. I take the pawn. He goes here. And now I start pushing. And before we know it, I'm actually winning. I'm winning because both my pawns are queening and so is his pawn. So the game gets completely out of control, completely, like, takes, I actually queen also, protected by the knight, so total pandemonium. My king might have been somewhere else, and long story short, we have this position, we have to make a move, or else we're going to be losing on time. He's checking me, he's like giving me checks and whatever. None of these moves are checks, but ultimately, I went to a square where he forked my king, my knight, and my pawn. And I had to give away my pawn, which, if you imagine a position where you're, you know, I don't even know how to do this. Let's just, like, very hypothetically say something like this. This is a draw. This is a very difficult endgame to play without the pawn. So I think I was probably winning for a move in this completely ridiculous pawn race we got into. But and I was up a knight, but he checked me a couple times, and I lost the pawn in the scramble. Yeah, we drew. So I was losing, and then I was probably winning, and then the game ended in a draw, which is very fitting. So I go to the last round of the tournament. All right, in the last round of the tournament, playing another international master, 2300, 27, 2800 online. And I played the Trumpowski. So this is a money game. So while this game is going on, friendly reminder of the starting rank, Jorge Corey has 4.5 out of 5. Krikor has 4.5 out of 5. And if you look at number 5, Carlos Matamoros from Ecuador, the only grandmaster in Ecuador. Maybe I'm misremembering. He has 5. So he has 5 points. He has 5 points. He's playing Krikor, who has 4.5. So 4.5 needs to beat the 5. And Jorge is playing Casa Corley right there. So everybody's playing everybody in the money round. Yeah, I mean, I have to win, and I have to hope that Carlos doesn't win. My opponent goes knight e4. I play my favorite, the Raptor variation, and I get this position from the opening. You know, I put my bishop on c3, which is always where I like to put my bishop. Although, actually, I think e4 and continuing this gambit is the right approach. But he goes e5. And so here, I had a big moment. Like, I can take en passant, of course, but I locked the position. And now I'm like, what do I do here? How do I play this position? Because my bishop is bad on c3, but like in the long run, I'm going to open it. He's going to go for f5. And for blitz, this felt like he has all the plans. Now, I could have maybe went g4. G4 is maybe a move I would play online, but over the board, it feels... And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my knight, bam, bam. So I went knight f3. He went knight a6. And I mean, here I just played such a stupid move. Like, just... So knight a6 is generally associated with putting the knight back on c7 and preparing an expansion. And a6, b5. And I was like, expansion, I'm going to go a4. I played this move without even thinking. And then I was like, wait, this is so stupid. Why did I just continue the plan? Because when he castles and I go knight c4, then I can play a4. And frankly, I don't even have to play a4. I can play knight e3, which I missed. I missed this idea to put the knight here because now there's no f5 and there's no b5. And if he goes knight c7, then I play a4. But I overreacted to a move. I saw like 100 moves into the future. I played a4, and very quickly he was hunting me down. And for the third game in a row, I was worse in the position and down on time. Not worse in the position, but I felt the momentum slipping. So I went here, tried to, keep a poker face. He He went here, thought this was a bad move, just let me attack the bishop. He brought the bishop back. I'm like, oh, boom, seizing the initiative. Bishop to g4, we're going to trade the bishop, we're going to bring the queen out here, and, you know, his next move I also thought was ridiculous. Actually, it's not a bad move at all, because my plan is to go knight f5, knight h5. He attacked my queen. I was like, what is he doing? I just give check. Wait a minute, maybe that was stupid? Like, why? And he's playing super fast, and I may be down like a minute at this point. Here I come up with a nice idea. I'm like, I'm going to attack his bishop and put this knight there, which is what I did. I thought, look at my position. I mean, I am just doing very well. So here, he started thinking the longest that he spent, and I got very confident, which very quickly backfired because he punched me straight in the nose. Like, his little maneuver here is the top line of the computer and is so annoying because I'm looking to create ideas, maybe castle. He went knight c7, which it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out wants to attack my queen and kick it out, but his next move was really annoying. He went here. That move I really didn't like. First of all, I cannot castle. Second of all, he pins my pawn to a rook and is ready to go b5, b4, and knight b5. He has all these ideas, like b3. b3 I didn't realize actually defends my rook. Because if he can play knight b5, if I cannot take the knight, let's say I just play bishop b2, I am getting obliterated here. The knight is so strong. And then this opens, and then this rook comes. I'm cooked. So when he played queen a6, I didn't actually realize b3 stops a lot of the knight b5 ideas. So once I ruled out b3 in my mind, I was working backwards. It was never going to work. And I really freaked out here. I was like, oh my gosh. So I went h5. This kind of doesn't do anything. I just played a move, and I hung a pawn. He forked my queen and my pawn and took here, and I was like, oh, I'm going to lose the tournament. Like, that was that. My luck ran out. I took his queen. He took. Fun fact about this position, I have about 3 seconds on the clock. He has completely outplayed me. So at this point, I am playing, as we say, by hand. He has all this time. He is cooking me. I went king e2, knight c7. I don't know what I played. I don't even remember. I played like g4. He went b5. I attacked this knight. He went back. And like, again, he's just trying to beat me down on the clock. I can't physically make the moves. So the next like 10 moves are a total blur. I ran my king. I tried to play c4. I did. I mean, something really weird happened, like c4 takes, king takes. Like I tried to get something going. He brought his knight out. I went here, something like this. Something like this happened. All right. I played like knight f5. I don't even know, really. I don't remember. Something along these lines. And the position ended up like this. Like this. This was the position. So I fought back. I fought back from here, from this position where I literally had 3 seconds on the clock and he had like 2 minutes, something like that, to this. I still haven't lost on time, and I'm actually surviving. Basically, I went rook h1, and I thought the game is going to end in a draw because I'm attacking his pawn. He has to protect it. I check his king. He can't run anywhere. He went here. I went here. And mentally, I prepared myself to have 5 points and end the tournament with... And then he played rook b7. Because again, he was very uncompromising. He was like, I'm not going to make a draw with this guy. And he realized the second he played this move, and I realized the second he played this move, he just lost the whole tournament. Because the idea was not just to take the pawn, the idea was to give this check. And I found this move in 1 second. The point is very simple. I'm attacking the bishop. And if he goes back to defend it, I suddenly take the pawn, and I don't just win a pawn, I win a rook. And when this happened, he fell back in his chair. I mean, he was just absolutely beside himself. I mean, he lost not just the whole game in one move. It was such a big blunder. The whole tournament went down in one move. I mean, I was ready for the draw and everything, and I was very happy to make a comeback. I mean, this tournament was the story of comebacks. Surviving positions. I took his bishop, and the game ended with me doing basically something like this, where I block his rook, and I, end up promoting the pawn and something along these lines. And he resigned, and I got first. I got first place, which was crazy, because if you look at the standings, Krikor beat Matamoros, who got 5, and Jorge Cori beat Kasakurli, and shout out also to Chelsea Monica from Indonesia, who got 5 points, 2,200, the top performing women, actually tied though with Patricia Yaneza Vega, both. Anyway, yeah, I wish there was more rounds. I didn't even have a chance to play Krikor. That would have been great. And obviously Jorge Corey is a monster. If you run 5 more rounds, I'm sure he's going to have 10.5 out of 11. You know, he's very, very good. But hey, I'll take it. I tied for first in a tournament with a lot of strong players, as you can see here from the intro list. And yeah, this was the same day we found out the tragic news. So it was a nice way to rejoice. And if anything, what I have learned the last week is, you mourn, you grieve, and you find a way to stay strong, move forward. And in the case of losing such a prominent and just wonderful individual, like I already said in the intro, you try to do as much as you can. Behind the scenes, things are in place, and I will update you all, as things progress on many fronts. So we will keep playing, we'll keep improving, we'll keep analyzing, and that is how I won a chess tournament by accident. That's all I have for you today. And if you're watching this video on October 26, 2025, the next 3 days, we have Magnus, Gukesh, Hikaru, and Fabiano Caruana playing against each other. So that's called clutch chess. Tune in. Appreciate you all. Tough times, but we will stay strong. We will keep moving forward. And, get out of here.